Hey, Kevin. So, welcome to all our guests. Kevin, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, we'll kick off this session, this quick session on maturing your data modeling center of excellence. So, thank you to our audience and thank you for taking time to spend a little time with us. So, maturing your data modeling center of excellence. Okay, Kevin.
I'm going to share the screen.
You were indeed.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, and I'm going to go entire screen, and here is, you should see the first in the PowerPoint. Yep,
Yep.
I just saw that.
All right, but now, okay, there we go. So we can go to the next slide. So now we've gone through that, and we can just have a quick discussion about who I am and who you are. So my name, Robert Ludden, Vice President, Sandhill Consultants. So I run the team in North America. I report to my colleague over in Europe, and together we run Sandhill Consultants globally. So little interesting organization. But Kevin, you are our senior consultant, Sandhill Consultants, and you've spent many a year working with the Irwin and also working with clients in maturing their data modeling center of excellence.
Yes, and just a little background. A little background about me. I started working with Irwin Data Modeler back in 2001. So I've been involved with data modeling for since that time.
And you've seen a lot of changes, and we will mention that there's great AI features coming into Irwin DM, but that's not what this presentation is about. So do tune in to additional updates on how we can leverage prompt AIs, prompt engineering, agentic AIs for the data modeler, and how you can become more of a prompt engineer. So Kevin, let's go ahead and let's get into it. We would kind of wanted to do a kind of back and forth on, the key principles of why you want to have a data modeling center of excellence, or why you might want to mature some of the standards or best practices that you have out there. There's no doubt that standards are the foundation for many data governance program, and those standards can come in either data modeling standards or best practices. We see, Kevin, you've been, positioning the data modeling tools not just as an enterprise discipline, not just as a project deliverer, but also something that is across the enterprise. We want enterprise data models, not just project data models. And there is a difference in how you actually handle the promotion of objects, depending upon whether you've got a project deliverable or an enterprise deliverable. And we'll talk a little bit about that. There is a clear lineage between a failure to model your business and the results of poor data quality. That could come from, missed names or missed standards, bad standards, poor naming conventions, multiple objects with the same name. So there are many ways that having a data model and having a data modeling center of excellence can increase the data quality. And certainly when you look at AI and its impact on what it's doing with our business, we want good data quality. So you kind of backtrack from AI to data quality to data governance to data modeling. So, and the last bullet point there, Kevin, is that please don't tell me that you're using spreadsheets for your data modeling. It's no substitution. Okay, Kevin. So when we started doing Center of Excellence, because we also have a data governance center of excellence as well as a data modeling center of excellence, we came across this note from Gartner, and they were saying that center of excellence are a physical or virtual knowledge base concentrating with existing expertise and resources in a discipline or capability to attain and sustain world-class performance and value. Well, couldn't have said it better ourselves when it comes to the modeling side of the house. They usually involve internal stakeholders, internal and external subject matter experts, as well as team members, employees who work and execute the project. And you can see the surrounding aspects from the Data Modeling Center of Excellence and how we view how this affects the entire team structure. Okay, Kevin. Now, one of the things that we wanted to kind of talk about with our audience members is that if you are using a data modeling tool, and we certainly hope that you are using a data modeling tool and not just a visual diagramming, you can actually deliver measurable business impact. And so one of the things that we want to make sure that every data leader can answer these questions, that you have a data modeling tool. It is still amazing how many times, Kevin, that we run into organizations that today don't have a data modeling tool. And no, Visio doesn't count. So, having a data modeling tool is a must in if you want to get to better data, better AI. So data modeling starts from there. The second thing we've noticed is that, once you have a data modeling tool, is that having a area where you can allow your organization to have a formal, repeatable methodology for data modeling, i.e. a center of excellence, then you're well on your way to ensuring consistency, quality, and reuse. And we'll show you some aspects of that in the tool set that we're going to use. And finally, without having a data modeling center of excellence, we do not see how the team could maximize its investments, because you're creating a shared documented process for the organization. You're allowing the team to jumpstart their training and knowledge base because you have a centralized area where they can go to. And you are obviously adopting the best practices. And if you don't, you're leaving a tremendous amount of value on the table. Okay, Kevin. So we wanted to take a quick look, because we talk about data modeling as a foundation of data governance. And you can see it clearly here that every organization has data governance policies, right? And these policies are they're derived from the principles to the policy to the procedures to the standards. So you need that the organization defines how objectives are met through the data governance policies. However, you then need in the data modeling world to drill that down a little bit further and derive procedures of how you want to achieve modeling in that organization. Again, we'll show you that. Then the flip side of procedures, which a lot of people say, I have my naming standard, I have my code or reference standards, and we're going, great. But what about your procedures to add new users? About your structure for your library compliance and how you actually build your structure of libraries and your definition, things like that? Have you got those standards and procedures in place? Because they're the compliance of the rules. All of these from the policy, procedure, and standards deliver meaningful metadata, i.e. trustworthy metadata, and most organizations are after that. And we then go into the monitoring, because not only do you have to implement your data modeling center of excellence, but you also have to keep on top of it. You have to have your data modeling life cycles. You have to have your approval process, which keeps the entire process consistent and relevant. And I don't think that AI is there where that can take that work from you. So it's getting there, but it's not there yet. Okay, Kevin. So we want to just start off by sharing with you an example area where you can actually look at what a so-called data modeling center of excellence may look like. This is where you can identify who's accountable, where do I find my processes, where do I find my standards, my guidelines. Some organizations have them on the internet. on their corporate website. Some organizations use ShareFile and use Office documents, and some use a wiki page or Confluence. So, Kevin, why don't we go ahead and just show the our listeners what we do as a starting point?
Sure. Thank you. Here we'll just take a look here at the in-house program that Sandohill developed is the Compass Data Governance Management System. So we have all our information on the left-hand side, with which relates to all these categories as far as creating that standard or that center of excellence. But over here in the bottom right, the DMM standards is the data modeling standards. So if we take a look, I'll go over to the actual management model management chapter. This gives you again a breakdown of how we develop this on the modeling forefront. So,
and it's also, Kevin, this is a repository. So the first thing is that this is in the cloud. Second thing is this is a centralized repository of all of the knowledge related to the standards, best practices, and procedures for your data modeling center of excellence, all centralized, central located, and all editable by the appropriate teams there. So anyone starting can go and say, hey, where's our standards, where's our procedures, how do we use the tool set within the organization? This centralized area, this framework, if you like, is your starting point. So you can certainly leverage a data modeling center of excellence such as the one we've got here. And obviously, Kevin, thank you for highlighting that this is based off our data governance center of excellence, which again is another knowledge base that we have created for our clients. So back to you, Kevin.
Okay, and then I think we'll go back. So what we were going to do here now is one of the categories is the a business and technology knowledge base, and within the data modeling tool that we use, which is Irwin and the MART repository. What we're going to do is we'll show you what you can do within the tool itself as far as it relates to the business glossary and data dictionaries. So this gives you a little description of the business glossary, which is a data related terms and definitions organized to provide meaning to terms used in the organization. And you have your data dictionary, which is a collection of specific specifications for the data objects. So if I go back here and I go into the modeling tool, Irwin, and let me just make sure I'm at I have several models that are open, but we'll just take a look at this model that we have here that that I have saved to the MART. And one of the quick parts to this is actually generating a data dictionary off the data model. So under the report designer, you could go into one of the pinned reports, the canned reports that Irwin provides, and I could open up one of the model reports, and then you'll take a look here, and there's a physical dictionary that we could run. And you could run this or export all the content, either text, HTML, or PDF. And I'll just do a quick run, and this is what you're receiving as far as on the data dictionary part. And these are the specific objects that are reported, but you could always add as needed. So, but just getting back to the business glossary within the modeling Mark tool. Let me just go back. And here in now this is the Mart portal application or administrator, where you have your enterprise glossary where you could take a several instances of where you could import specific glossaries from an external file or from the Irwin DI. And here, what I did was I took a SDI glossary from our in-house DI suite, and what I did was I selected these. I created some the terms were brought in, and I mapped them to a data model itself. So all this is now associated to one of the data models, and I'll just jump back to Irwin. And one of the categories or one of the words was the entity customer, and we were able to take cust as a name and use the definition, and we associated that to the data model through the mapping part of the tool. So that's a way to show how to get your business terms into the model, a specific model. You could also get these business terms into multiple models at any given time. So let me just go back to.
And so, Kevin, just while you go back to that, I just want to kind of ask the question. So you can use Irwin as a data modeling tool to create your entities attributes, but also to create the definition, which you could then export out to a data cataloging tool such as Irwin DI. You could then update that, and I believe that then you can round trip that and bring it back into Irwin to update the both the data dictionary and the description and definition. Of course, one of those things implies that you actually have to have a standard for how a definition is created, and that would obviously exist in the Data Modeling Center of Excellence. It also exists in Compass for data governance. But do I have that correct?
That is correct. And one thing I forgot to mention is the ability to take your sensitive data and make it mark it as sensitive data, and you'll see that as part of the imported business glossary term. It's been tagged as a SDI classification known as a sensitive data indicator. So yes, round tripping is a big capability within the modeling tool set that Irwin Quest provides.
Perfect.
So let me just go back here to let me make sure I cancel out of this, and I'll probably end up going to another data model. Okay. So now we're going to jump into design standards within the tool itself. So here within our DMM, we have a place setters or procedures on setting up standards and guidelines for best practices for model design and guidelines, and I'll be showing that shortly in our demo. But here, what we have here is a category under the DMM is for under the standards is the class words, and these are defined within the DMM itself. We have a prime, qualifier, and classify word, and here we have the examples, and we have our standard abbreviations as well.
I think would they exist in the DMM, the Compass DMM as well, Kevin? I think that what you're, if I understand correctly, you're saying that it's great to have these documented, but heavens above, don't put them in just a Word document. Don't put them in a PowerPoint. Get them into an online shareable system that everyone can have access to, and then implement them into the domains and templates. So if you wanted to show us where we can see the standard abbreviations or the class words in Compass, so that way we can see that they exist there.
Yes. So if I go back here and under standards, we do have a class information for domains and data types, and this gives you the nicely formatted presentation of how these words, these class words, can be set up in Compass here. We, for example, we have the class word date. It's abbreviated as DT, and we have a logical data type as date, and that within which can be incorporated in itself. So, Robert, did you have anything
I did have
here?
something else here as well, because one of the things that a lot of organizations are looking for is, well, a couple of things. One is, I don't want to start from a blank page. So if I were going to create standard class words, domains, or data types, where do I start? What should I start with? What structure should I do? Because if you don't have a blank canvas, it's going to take you a lot longer. So one of the things we do in our DMM format is we provide a jump start for the organization. The second thing is that all of the standards and procedures have been written from a single voice, which means that it's got consistency. And the third thing that we'll talk about is that this is the starting point. It's not the end point. So what you can do is you can take what we've given you and you can then edit it and customize it so it becomes your own. That's the net effect of having a jumpstart framework that you can take, modify, and create as your own. And I think, Kevin, we're now going to see what happens when you create that as a domain or a shareable template, which you can then use within the toolset.
Yes. So what I did was I took one of our we developed. So here you'll see a number of domains that have been created within Irwin. We have is the ability to take, and we're looking at the logical side of the data model. And if we just take date as one of the domains and we just take it and create it or slide it into one of these entities, which will take on the characteristics of that's been defined in the domain itself. But if we now take a look, date shows up in the logical view, but you'll see in the physical view that we have a set of naming standards that abbreviates that as DT. So again, that's a standard that that we came up with, and that's what a way that Irwin, if we take a look, you'll see that date abbreviates as DT, and it's taking on the abbreviation from the naming standards mapping in Irwin Data Modeler. To also, Robert's point here is this is in one of the data models itself, but we also have a way to standardize that in a template model. And here you'll see that we have this data model, which is a basically a standard without any entities or attributes in that or objects, but we have a setting for of all the domains that we want to define. We also have we may have some themes, but also like a naming standard. So when we go out and we create a brand new data model, and let me just see, and I associate this with one of the with this particular standard model. Let's see. Let me just grab this one. And while this is so now we have this new model, this shell model, that we can start adding entities, attributes, and basically your models, your modeling in the data model itself. You can always take the you have your listing of domains, these reusable objects that are now part of the model that have been associated from this template model. So let me just create a quick entity, and then what I'll do is I'll slide a ID in, and that automatically creates the attribute, and on the physical side of the data model itself as well.
And you could do that for naming standards. So you can give it, the entity name. So if it was sales order, it'd be sales order date. You can do it on that side. You can do it on the logical and the physical side. So you can leverage, domains, templates, colors, dates, class words. Everything can be customized. So what we're trying to do here, Kevin, is we're trying to ease the burden of mistakes being made by the data model business analyst, because we're giving them everything on a platter for them to just use inside their model.
Correct. And now that I was just thinking of this use case, Robert, with the AI capability within Irwin. Let's say we have a data model with all these reusable objects, your domains, etc., and you reverse engineer your business need using the AI in Irwin. That will automatically create those particular objects in that brand new model that's being reverse engineered. So that's a new feature that I guess that models would like to get to use in a quick fashion.
Coming to you, I think this is currently version 15.1 that is released, Kevin, and 15.2 is coming out shortly with even more agentic AI and agents and things like that. So we're excited to see that. But going back to all of this still requires your standards, procedures, processes, and your data modeling center of excellence.
Correct. So then we have, and we touched upon the library of reusable objects, and here you'll see that we have this form here of showing how we take these a project basically, and you could take a couple of different types of environments as a NoSQL data model. You could take those and you can make that into a standard object. And what we're going to do is we'll take this and we'll make sure that the mapping goes to the data warehouse project, and that way we have all this information that's standardized for the reusable libraries and the model itself. And here we'll see that within the modeling tool, let me just go, before I go back to Irwin, I want to show that as far as these reusable objects and standardized data models that Irwin provides, Irwin does provide what they call a common data model, which has a listing of about maybe over about 100 different standardized data models. And here we're just taking a look at the what they call the CDM banking Irwin model. So here again, this is you could use this in the banking industry as a framework to start your modeling as a template here. So even though it may not match up with all your business requirements, it does give you a jump start as a reusable uh, capability within Irwin itself.
And Kevin, one of the things that we're quite particular on is, how you can actually define your data modeling life cycle, right? So, you may have project models, and these project models may have some object classes that would get promoted to the standards environment or the template environment. So, you can leverage that. And again, what we're trying to show here is that there is a way for an organization, and what you're looking at here is one of the pages where we can actually take the physical or logical naming standards, and again, we can customize them, and then we can implement them into the organization. So you get a standard, consistent way to not only develop your attributes and entities and columns and tables, but also a way for the organization to share that information. So Kevin, we just wanted, within the last couple of minutes, just wrap up with the last couple of slides.
Sure.
If you want to go back to that. So, we did talk about, the standard operating procedures. It's not just about data modeling standards. It's about the standard operating procedures. It's about the forms. It's about the workflow. All of this helps achieve efficiency. It increases quality and reduces miscommunications because everyone's on the same page. And even if you're using outsourced environments, you can say, these are our standards. This is what we aspire to. So your model must follow the following standards because it's our intercompany standard. So go ahead, next slide, Kevin. Again, when it comes to standard operating procedures, we have developed model development procedures, model reconciliation procedures, issue resolution procedures, model review and approval processes, and model maintenance, in addition to the standards which we also just showed on the last page. So Kevin, go ahead and go to the next slide.
And that brings us to, I think, what we're going to take a look at is just to go back to our
framework. Yeah.
Framework. So.
And if you can click on that second tab, Kevin, you're in our data governance framework, which obviously has a subsection for the data modeling standards, because we believe that the two are connected. So you can see here's the procedures. Here's all the procedures which we talked about from stewardship. I think actually, Kevin, we were going to talk about a little bit about stewardship right at the top there. Yeah, and again,
yep. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, from a stewardship point of view, this is a stewardship from a data modeling point of view, right? And so what we're looking to do is we're looking to identify who the responsible resource is, what is the process, who's responsible, who's consulted, who's informed. So we want to be able to have some racy options in there. And Kevin, if you scroll down, we've got some pro tips for the users on how to actually implement this in a data modeling tool of choice. So all of that exists in the Data Modeling Center of Excellence. And if you go back to the previous tab, Kevin, you can continue showing that there are procedures that we've got standards that are built. There are forms in the tool set. We've even got some playbooks if you scroll down for the organization to be able to leverage, and again, some of the artifacts as templates and templates that you can download for the users should you need to, once you've got them developed and created in Compass, you can then download them to the user. So I think, Kevin, we're pretty much at the time. Have you got a couple of more slides just to wrap up from our side? So how to get started or how to update your data modeling center of excellence. Hopefully, we've shown you how you could actually create a centralized data modeling center of excellence. We provide a jump start to assist in getting your data modeling center of excellence up and running. You can leverage our Compass for DMM. And Kevin, if you want to go to the next slide, if you're not there yet, we obviously provide some assistance in getting a quick survey for your DMM to get started, so we can identify what gaps you've got. So if you'd like more information, you can contact us. Kevin, go ahead to the last slide. And again, for our folks reviewing this afterwards as well, you can actually get a hold of us at info@sandhillconsultants.com, and you can follow us on LinkedIn or Twitter as well on the social media. So with that, Kevin, thank you indeed for your time today. We certainly would appreciate your input. And I just saw a question there saying, yes, this session is being recorded, and so we will post it out on the LinkedIn. It should appear, a couple of hours after this session is finished. So if you've got any questions, obviously go back because Sandhill is obviously North American and EMEA focused. You can use info@sandhillconsultant.com for the North America, or info@sandhill.co.uk for our European counterparts, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction as well. So, Kevin, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate it. And for anyone that is interested, you're welcome. If anyone that is interested in learning more about how we can jumpstart your data modeling center of excellence now or in the future, or your data governance center of excellence, and soon perhaps there may be a data quality center of excellence and a data strategy center of excellence. But oops, I'm giving too much information away there. We'll come to that in the future. So thank you for sharing this time with us, and please reach out to us if you've got any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.